Hello YouTube, it's Tony. So today I'll be showing you a Zamorak Fortress combat training guide. The requirements for this are, you need 83 Slayer because that will win the spiritual mages. This is located at the northmost section of the God Wars dungeon, so you can get there by using your God Wars dungeon teleport tablet. This requires the Mighty Fall quest complete. Although if you do have access to max guild boss portal, then just attune it to Zamorak. Alright, so here's my equipment setup. I'm actually using Mage because it has really great AoE abilities. You can use melee instead, and you can get similar XP rates. The weapon I'm using is Noxious Staff, and the perks I suggest are Caraming 3 and Aftershock 3. Now trust me, the Caraming perk really helps here because it attracts nearby targets. I don't have spare gizmos for these, so I didn't actually use them in this video. Otherwise you can just use a tier 75 staff, and that works just fine. So the perks I'm using for my subjugation body are Impatient 3 and Biting 2. But I mean Scavenging perk also works here because you do get a fairly high kill rate per hour. I'm also using Subjugation boots and gloves, but you can use Silverhawk boots if you want Agility XP. Then I have the Ghost Hunter legs, helmet, and cape, and you only need 3 pieces for the set effect. Basically, it'll give you 10% more damage as well as 10% more XP against ghosts, which also work on spiritual monsters. If you want 20% more damage and accuracy against spiritual monsters, then just consider using Salve Amulet Enchanted. Otherwise, a Demon Horn necklace with a tuned Ectoplasmator can give you nearly unlimited prayer. The ring I'm using is Surgeon's Ring, but otherwise you can just use Luck of the Dwarves if you want Hizumir Signet chance. I'm using the Uncharged Godbook since I don't have any spare Berserk Essence, so the aura I'm using is Vampirism or Penance Aura. Then finally I have the Elf City Quiver, and that's going to be used for prayer bonus. Alright, so here's my inventory setup. I have the Aggression Potions. Now if you're using Mage you have to use this because Subjugation provides you Zamorak protection. I also have Holy Overloads, and then I have Replenishment Prayer Potions. I mean you just want to bring a few of these. So the magic notepaper is going to be really helpful here for the non-stackable drops. I actually forgot to bring it in this video. So I also have a spring cleaner, and I'm going to set it to destroy the rune items. The large rune pouch will be storing the alch runes as well as the air runes for air search. The gem bag is also helpful here because they drop gems sometimes. My main bag teleports a max cape, but otherwise if you don't have that, then you can use Ring of Kinship or Taco Zo. You can also bring a Ring of Vigor and Planted Feet Sunspear, and those are basically optional switches. The Planted Feet will increase your duration of sunshine by 7 seconds. Now unequipping the weapon with Planted Feet doesn't actually remove the effect. So for those who use Aftershock, make sure the Aftershock perk has it, otherwise it will reset. The Enhanced Excalibur is going to be used for emergency defense and healing. Then finally I have the Legendary Pet, and that helps me loot drops sometimes. Otherwise you can just use a Demon Brawler Familiar, but I mean the scrolls are fairly expensive, so I didn't really bother with that. Now the attuned Ectoplasmator is pretty optional, as this will give you both prayer XP and unlimited prayer. Now I didn't bother with this because the Ghostly Essence is fairly rare and expensive. In my Slayer tool belt, I have a Charming Imp, Bone Crusher, and Herbicide. Alright, so here are the prayers. I'm using Torment and Soul Split. You don't really need to use Soul Split often here if you're using Vampirism Aura. You should be able to Soul Split back most of your damage though, unlike Saradomin Encampment. Alright, so here's my action bar. Just follow my basics for Revolution Rotation. Then for thresholds it doesn't really matter, but I mean you want to use Detonate for extra AoE. The ultimate I'm using is Sunshine, and you can also use Tsunami if you want even more AoE. So here's a strategy. You're just going to stand where I'm standing, which is near the snowy pillar. I'm standing 2 squares south and 2 squares east of it. This is pretty much the optimal spot for clustering. You also want to use AoE abilities as often as possible, and they should usually vacuum towards you with the aggression potions. So just prioritize Sunshine, but use Tsunami once in a while. So you're pretty much going to area loot the drops, and just drag it and drop it to your money pouch if you want to alch items. So here are the drops overall. You mostly get noted ores as well as alchables such as battle staves and rune items. The super potions are fairly common, so don't forget to use magic notepaper on it. Even the Addy 2H is also a great choice since they actually sell for much higher than alch price. They drop ghostly essences as well sometimes. Now the cool thing is, you can get pieces of Warpriest Zamorak. So in order to disassemble them, just turn off Auto Retaliate and drag it and drop it to your Invention pouch and hold the Y key. So I got 5 mil worth of drops this hour, and I made 2.7 mil worth of alchables. You can expect around 4 to 5 mil profit per hour if you were to factor in the costs. So overall I got a little over 800k magic XP per hour. The amount of kills per hour I got was 1,300. This would then get you 69 prayer XP per hour if you were to use Attuned Ectoplasmator. So with that being said, it's really decent for a scavenging perk, as well as being great for farming Zamorak components. It's also very AFK and much more relaxing than Saradomin Encampment, which I actually have a guide on. Unlike Abyssal Demons though, there's no need to fight for a spot. So honestly, the profit's very decent if you're training Invention. So I have 1 hour footage of Zamorak Fortress, and I'll leave that link in the description. So yeah, thanks for watching and I hope it helps. If I missed anything, feel free to ask.